And you've obviously worked with a lot of people, a lot of different people. Um, what's the most like common problem you see with people's attitudes? Is there one?
Oh, look, what I did actually, and it's behind me here, is when I, I've done thousands of presentations now all around the world, like Google, Microsoft, and been in their boardrooms and talking to leadership about managing emotions, is that there's kind of 7 major triggers that, or you group them in, like, so there's workload, there's traffic, there's weather, there's relationships, there's finance, But what I noticed is there were common ways in that we think, and I developed an attitude profiling system, right? So one of them is the doom merchant. So, and I've given them names, and being clinically based and a doctor, you just don't want to put someone in a box and go, "Oh, you're this," which was not. I didn't really like that about personality theory. Is that you're an ENTJ, or oh, she's a hawk, I'm a dove, get a peacock to do that. Like you box people in, whereas attitude is a state rather than a trait. So what that means is you can change your state quite easily if you know how to do it. So the doom merchant is filtering. So you might do, we'll probably not do many operations in a week now, but you might do 10 or 15 in a week, and one might not go as well as you would have hoped, right? I'm sure the patient comes out absolutely fine, but it might have taken a little bit longer or whatever. And at the end of the week, and especially as you're training, you'll just play that one over and over again in your head. I'm not saying you are, but I'm just giving you an example. Yeah. And you'll play that, so you filter that out, and that just goes through your mind, and rather than looking at all the good things that have happened, we filter out. So I call that the doom merchant. And some people are addicted to being miserable. You can identify them. You go, "Have a nice day." They'll go, "Sorry, I've made other plans," So yeah, we do have a really strong negative bias. So I think that would be one of the most common profiles that I see is people filtering and just having a this negative bias and looking at everything like it's coming at them as a threat, really, especially in these times. Yeah.
Are there any strategies that you use to try and change that negative bias, try and steer it to more of away from negative bias towards a more positive mindset?
Yeah, so I call it healthy and unhealthy rather than negative or positive mindset, because 2 things. First is I talk about hardware and software. So the brain is the hardware. So it's like you can't run good software if your hardware isn't working properly, and the mind is the software, right? So I was a bit grumpy today, unusually so, but didn't sleep that well, didn't go out surfing. I've been doing so many of these Zoom things, and you know what it's like when you're an orthopedic registrar. You can spend days and days in the operating theatres, and you never get outside, and you get a little bit grumpy. And if you don't get enough sleep, you get a bit irritable. So maybe surgical registrars get a little more grumpy because they don't get as much sleep as everybody else. But so you do a hardware software check. So the first strategy is to go, is this a hardware issue? And for me, I definitely need to do some more exercise. I need to get out of the house, my bubble. I need to get in the water. I need to do those things that keep me well. And then presumably my neurotransmitters will start working a little more, and I won't be as grumpy. So that's the first strategy, to work out if it's a hardware issue or a software. And often it's both. But if I do my hardware check and I go, look, actually, I've just been for a surf. I had a really nice salad for lunch. When my bubble increases, I get some hugs, and I sleep really well. Then it's what I'm telling myself. So what am I telling myself? And, we don't have time to go through it now, but, so there's a process we go through called twigging. So basically you want to really work out what you're thinking. And that's probably the hardest thing for people, is to work out what they're thinking, especially guys. You'll go, "Oh, what's your emotion?" I go, "Oh, just frustrated, mate, frustrated." You go, "What are you thinking?" "I just stressed." I go, no, they're both emotions, right? You've got to work out what the difference between a thought and an emotion is, And some people go, "Well, oh, what's the trigger? What's really made you, made you mad?" And I go, "Oh, my kids have been disrespectful, mate." And I'm going, no, that's not the trigger. That's what you're thinking, right? What are they doing? So it's trying to separate. I basically teach a process. Once again, come back to the operation, skin to skin. You got to start at the skin and finish at the skin. And you go through all the different layers to get to your bone, and then back out again, right? So it's the same with healthy thinking. You give people a structured process to go through. So, and then you teach the process, right? So it'd be like me, we were just talking before about some consultants you've worked for. I taught them how to do their first tip, right? But I just showed them how to do it, and then they went off and did it themselves and did it better than me, right? So, it's the old give person a fishing rod. They'll eat for a long time. So, yeah, giving people tools, and you got to keep using the tools. That's the bottom line.